Forgive myself for accepting that I myself feel nervous while doing a video, while being in front of the camera. Um, so I started doing self-forgiveness again, and aloud, in the moment, and in writing with taking words, and if there's any energy, positive or negative, to forgive that, and any thought or belief about anything related to that word that's connected to that word. After I did that, well, I was looking at a blog online, and I was reading it, and I saw how some words were popping out, you could say, or standing out. I saw how there was an energy attachment it had for that word. So I, took a word I saw, and I did that process, and I did that for another word, another word, another word, another word, and then until like I finished one whole sentence, and then I could read the sentence, or even that, those few words when I was doing the beginning part, just those few words. And every word that I did the forgiveness for, it was clear, meaning I could look at the word without really thinking about it or without really feeling anything, you know. So to read a sentence without thinking or feeling things, things that are like, extra, that are my own personal thing, even good or bad, or ideas, thoughts, anything related to how I felt. Just about reading the words, and that's it, which is pretty cool. So yeah, because I can't always be on my computer and have the ability to write things down, like when I was walking my dog earlier. I also, when I have a thought or belief or a positive or negative, a statement or charge for something, I also tried to do that as I was walking around, if there was something like that, to say it out loud like that. I forgive myself for accepting, allowing myself for this thought or belief, whatever it happens to be, like thinking that it's good to be outside, you know. Like right now, feel nervous. I believe that's bad to be looking at the camera and talking to a camera, because I'm talking to myself, by myself, alone. So I forgive myself for accepting, allowing myself to believe, perceive, or think that it's bad to talk to yourself when you're alone. I forgive myself for accepting, allowing myself to think that it's bad to talk to a camera because I'm alone. So I felt some nervousness go away, just a little bit, but the huge chunk of it is gone. I'd like to see what else is here, is related to that. Okay, so I forgive myself for accepting, allowing myself to think that it makes me crazy to be talking to myself because I'm alone and there's no one around. Forgive myself for accepting, allowing myself to think that it's bad to be crazy because crazy is just an opinion or a derogatory word that's just used to instill or bring about a negative reaction within a person. So yes, there's still some other things here though. So let's just look at it. I forgive myself for accepting allowing myself to think that I am trying to be cool. Forgive myself for accepting allowing myself to think that I'm a badass. Forgive myself for accepting allowing myself to think, believe, or perceive that I'm self-conceited. Forgive myself for accepting allowing myself to think that I am a know-it-all. Forgive myself for accepting allowing myself to think that I can't be here speaking in front of the camera, saying self-forgiveness out loud, and not be self-conceited, not be or have a large ego. Forgive myself for accepting allowing myself to think that having a large ego is bad. Forgive myself for accepting allowing myself to think that being self-conceited is bad. Forgive myself for accepting allowing myself to think that I am bad. Forgive myself for accepting allowing myself to think that I don't know. What is it that I don't know? Or what is it that I know? This is just thoughts. It's not reality. Okay. Forgive myself for accepting allowing myself to think that I'm like this saint or holy person and guru because I'm using self-forgiveness. Because self-forgiveness is a tool that I can use, that anyone can use. So it's not restricted to some hierarchy of requiring so many years of discipline or so many years of practice or anything about past experience. Anyone can use it, no matter how much life experience you have. And it's also not about divinity or purity in the traditional sense. It's about yourself. If you want to relate divinity or purity to yourself, that's fine, but it has nothing to do with imagining angels or picturing heavens or leaving your body or, going around into astral planes, or even the law of attraction. The only thing has to do is with yourself. So that's also another reason why you can say anyone can do it. It requires no belief. It actually requires you to give up your beliefs. Because that's also what you're forgiving. And I wouldn't say that it requires you to do it, but when you forgive your beliefs, you're actually ending your beliefs. So when you forgive your beliefs, you're actually letting go of your beliefs. And now feel some energy. Afraid of my brother marching in. Forgive myself for accepting allowing myself to be afraid or resist my brother marching in during the video. But for practicality's sake, I'm gonna lower the volume or okay. So on the topic of beliefs, so I do forgive beliefs because you look at the definition of belief. It means something that's not backed up by evidence. So basically, when you have beliefs, you're accepting statements or assertions that are not backed up. So isn't it better or best for all if every single statement within yourself are statements that are backed up, are statements that you can assert with 100%, I don't want to say confidence or clarity, because those also have been tainted with the word belief, that we often are confident about our beliefs, or our beliefs are clear to us, but isn't it better when you know things, right? When you know it, rather than just believe it. That's why I'm letting go of all beliefs as well. Focus on what I know. Another reason is that beliefs are what circulate through your mind. Because you can also have, let's say, things you know, but even what you know, your knowledge, can also circulate through your mind as well. So it's also about that point of letting go of all that knowledge that keeps circulating in your mind as thoughts, as a pattern that circulates. Because it's not needed. You don't need to be thinking all the time. And if you were to actually see how your life, my life, when I see my life, how my life has been affected by my thinking, by all the times where I thought something and led me behaving a certain way, making a decision, doing or not doing something. I would say everything I've done in my life, or pretty much like 99.99% of what I've done in my life, has been actions that were decided upon what I was thinking or feeling in the moment. So I would say that I am very, very lucky to be where I am. It is because it's all that luck. I was lucky to land where I am. I'm very fortunate to be where I am today. And I would say the same thing for anyone else, because we all, from what I can tell, from what I've heard from everyone's story, we all do the same thing. So that's why everyone is lucky and fortunate to be where they are. Even, I'm just saying it's by chance, it's random. That's what I'm saying. So this process of forgiveness is a process of taking that randomness and living life by chance and turning it into a life that's certain, a life which outcome can be seen and created with certainty. That one's future can be certain. Like my life right now, when I do forgiveness, it's a certainty. It's a certainty that as I keep doing this, more and more forgiveness, I will change. What I do will change. My decisions will change. And I'll be making decisions based on my forgiveness. My forgiveness is from the starting point what's best for me. And I forgive me into what's best for me. So in that sentence, I was using forgiveness as the word transform. So because forgiveness is a transformation. Like I was sharing before earlier, how with my words, when I was reading a blog and saw how each word I had, not every single word, there's maybe, well, even the word and, A-N-D, and, had a thought to it, but there's certain words that stood out more than others, and those had, you could say, stronger energy attached to it. So, I just started with one, then went to the next one, the next one. And it was like a literal transformation of the word. So when I started with the first word, which was instead, I did forgiveness on that. And then after I finished with it, I looked at the word again in the blog instead, and I saw how it didn't have the same reaction anymore. It was just a word. I could sort of just stare at it without anything really coming up. Then I went to the other words next to it until I finished the sentence. And you could see, like, when I would just look at a word, thoughts would come up, and I would be looking for the thought, right? I look at the word, and I already felt energy within me, so I was looking for the thought that will come up. To make it practical, I'll give you an example. So, let's see. Let's use the word lying. So when I looked at the word lying, I saw, I had something there. So I wrote it down, and I saw that, well, I think in the beginning I started writing I feel, see what will come up, so, try to bring out what I felt. So, but no, I remember now with this word, I actually felt this. I felt guilty. That's what I wrote. I feel guilty for lying or telling a lie to someone, like I have wronged them. So all of that just came up with the word lying. Even the part even the part like I have wronged them. So those words are specific for me, like they were within me already. And so all I have to do is let them come out, let them be expressed. And I have to write it down. So after that, I did forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to feel guilty for lying to a person. believing and thinking that I have wronged them by lying to them. Now, for me, when I say this, it's obviously true. Why I'd want to forgive myself for this? Because a lie is a lie, and it's not about guilt. It's not about anything else. The word lie just means to not tell someone the truth, right? Not give a person accurate information, to give them misleading or incorrect information. Guilt doesn't need to be associated with that. There's no reason for me, for every time I read a sentence or read a paragraph or any where I may see the word lying or lie, to feel guilty. Because that's what's happening as I'm reading words. That's what's happening when I read that word. When I read lying, that feeling of guilt came up, even though it wasn't, even though I wasn't telling a lie. So that's why I'm doing this process. It's because all of my words are like that. All of my words have that energetic definition to it. So I have to do this process of taking each word and letting go of all of this energy, of all this emotion, of all these feelings, of all these values that are attached to the words. Because when I read things, when I read what other people say, or when I hear other people talk to me, or when I speak, all those energies will be activated as I hear those specific words. And all those memories will come up, all those situations, these phrases, these thoughts, these feelings, everything will come up. So that's why I have to do this process of taking each word one by one and doing this. And I see the proof for myself. When I finish it and look at the word now, I don't see that anymore. Now, I do see layers, but I'm taking this one point at a time. It's possible that under the word lying, there's more definitions, there's more energy, there's more things. But I'm starting with just, with what I can work with right now, which is what comes up right now. So I look at a word, I did what I did, and this is what I did this afternoon. Not this afternoon, but you know what I mean. So earlier I did forgiveness for how I was reacting while speaking to myself alone, while talking to a camera, and I've already noticed the difference in how I speak to the camera. The difference when I speak alone. So forgiveness is something that's immediate. There's immediate change when you do it. So I'm just going to continue with, so there's energy that I feel. I feel it more in my legs and arms. I also feel it in my solar plexus too. I'm aware that, I've been told how energy and thoughts are stored in our bodies, in our, different parts of our bodies, like our wrists and elbows. And I, yeah. So just I'm seeing like whether there's this energy or not, and what I should see. Right now, okay, I'm just gonna do self-forgiveness. I forgive myself for accepting lying myself. I forgive myself for accepting and allowing myself to think, I'm happy that I'm doing self-forgiveness on the camera. forgive myself for allowing myself to think that I'm benefiting and helping others by doing this video.